Two, one. What's happening, YouTube? You're back in the building with the Life Gain Avengers of current culture on this historic night before the election. I hope you guys got your snacks ready, got your game plan ready. Hopefully, you already voted. But if
Yes,
you're
I
going
hope
to
they
be out
did
there
too.
tomorrow, please make sure you've got everything prepared. You got your mind right. You got an extra charging apparatus. You're safe. You got the game plan. Joining me as always, that living legend, Larry. How you feeling tonight? What you want to say to the people the night before one of the biggest elections we've ever seen?
I'm wearing my Women's March shirt today because on the day after the inauguration of, Trump's first term and hopefully his only term was the Women's March. And I just want to remind women that it was you who put Trump in this White House. If you didn't vote for him, that he wouldn't have been elected. Now, remember, women are like 53% of the population. You guys have higher voter turnout than men. And for whatever reason, you found that you wanted to vote for a misogynist, multi-rapist. And so I just want to remind you, please do not vote for him again. If you haven't voted, please go vote for Joe Biden. And I was trying to find something on here. There was something I wanted to show on it was on Instagram. I saw it. I think it was the Bernie Sanders. No, it wasn't Bernie Sanders. It was the ACLU that tweeted it out. And it was basically showing all the states that you can vote, that you can register to vote on the day of the election. So for most states, you have to register in advance. But there are about 10, 12 states out there, I believe, where you can register and vote at the same time. So I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna let you go on, do your thing. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up and find it. And when I do, I'll mention it to you so I can show it to you, or at least mention the states or something, in case there's people out there that are not registered that are thinking that they can't vote because it's too late. So maybe you're from one of these states.
Okay, cool, got it.
Here we go. Just found it. Sorry. Here we go.
Ahead.
So it says, if you are not registered to vote, you can register on election day in the states of California, Colorado, Connecticut, the District of Columbia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming.
Okay.
So there you go.
There you have it, people. We got to get this thing done this time. And we will definitely be covering some of those subject matters in this video. But we're going to do the same format we did Friday. I've got 8 subjects. You, the fans, are going to be picking the subjects. I'll let Larry start us off. But I want to tell these people, I'm giving a shout out to these individuals, as well as saying each one of you get first dibs on a number. So let me shout out everybody that's in the building, and they all turned out for this Monday night. Cash Money, my folk Chris P, Tressa C, always in the building showing love. Mike Willie, CJ32, Tim, my big brother, Sib Biology in the building, McDaniel, excuse me. Boy. Jalen Hinton, my folk Moochie in the building, Trina Johnson, B. Avery. Be sure to subscribe to his channel, Cornell Brown. We've got a lot of folks in this house today. And so Larry,
703 up in the house. I haven't seen him yet.
Oh man, positive pushers in the building. Boy, whenever I put something in there about power, boy, everybody wants to show up. So having said that, I'm going to say these names, and I want you all to pick a number and leave it right here in the comment section, because we're going to do our show based on what you pick. B. Avery, you get a number 1 through 8. Well, first of all, Larry, what number you taking?
I think I'm going to take lucky number 5.
Okay, Larry's going
No.
with
I'm going to go with 6. My initial instinct was to say 6, and I switched it up. I'm going with my gut. I'm going with number 6.
Okay, Larry going with number 6. B. Avery, what number you want? Tim, what number do you want? Tressa, what number do you want? Cash Money, Chris P. and Mike. I want you guys to let me know what numbers you guys. Okay, Chris P. is taking number 7. Okay, so we got him locked down. Tim Windsor got number 2. Tressa
Big
got
Tim in the
number
house.
3. And let's see, B. Avery and Cash Money and Mike waiting on y'all. But since we've got a couple of numbers, go ahead and okay, B. Avery. Well, somebody took 7 already, B. Avery. Pick another one.
There you
What's
go.
up, Buzz.
There we go. 703 in the house.
Thought we was gonna miss him tonight. Okay.
703.
Well, while my folk is getting their numbers together, Mike Willie is taking number 1. So Cash Money and B. Avery, we waiting on y'all to come up with numbers. But while you guys are thinking about what number you're gonna pick, we're gonna go ahead and start. Number 6, Larry took. Some people will say that this is the only man that they think of when they think of James Bond. The legendary Sean Connery, ladies and gentlemen, has kicked the bucket at the age of 90. Take a look at this, and then I want you guys to talk about his legacy as James Bond and some of the other movies he has done.
We have breaking news into our ABC newsroom. Sean Connery has died. The actor best known for portraying James Bond was 90 years old. ABC's Julia McFarland joins us now from London this morning with the very latest. Julia, good morning.
Good morning. With sad news this morning from the 007 family. Sir Sean Connery has died at the age of 90. His family telling the BBC he passed away peacefully in his sleep. Jason Connery said his father had many of his family around him when he died, adding, "It was a sad day for all who knew and loved my dad." For many, Connery was the definitive 007, often topping polls of who was the best Bond. The current producers of the 007 franchise earlier tweeting, "We are devastated by the news of the passing of Sir Sean Connery. We shall be forever grateful to him." Connery from Edinburgh, Scotland, he was cast as the original Bond back in 1962, and in 1988 he won an Oscar for playing a tough Irish cop in The Untouchables. And in 2000, Connery was knighted by the Queen, cementing his status as a national British icon.
Larry, thoughts and feelings on Sean Connery? I will have to say that he was the first James Bond I ever saw. And I caught him in some other action movies. And what stood out to me was his iconic voice. I would try to run up on chicks and try to act like I had an English accent and talk like him when I was just making myself look like a damn fool. But he stands out for me because he was the first Bond I saw. I don't per se want to say he's the greatest because I think I would be being biased because he stands out for me because he was the first I seen. And having said that, then maybe he is the greatest. But Larry, thoughts on the legacy of Sean Connery, dead at the age of 90?
Well, first, I just want to have to point out that newscaster, whoever she is a blazer. My God, man, she was nice. But beyond that, Sean Connery for a long time, I think a lot of people looked at him as the best Bond. And I looked at him as the best Bond for a long time. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until, and this is going to be controversial, people don't like him.
Here we go.
But I still think that the best Bond is Daniel Craig.
Okay.
Why?
What makes him better than Sean Connery?
I'll tell you what makes him better. Part of it, a lot of I think what makes him better is that the Daniel Craig Bond is much more true to the Bond books, to the actual books. Bond, even though he was a smooth talker and he was very debonair and the way they portray him in that sense, he was also friggin' brutal. Dude was no joke and would get his squab on. And that is what we see in the Daniel Craig Bond. That dude is scrappy. and we just you didn't see that all that much with the with the earlier Bonds. We didn't see that with the the Roger Moore Bond or the Sean Connery Bond. We saw it just a tiny bit with the Pierce Brosnan Bond.
Yeah,
I mean, Timothy Dalton Bond was it was just forgettable. I mean, I almost forgot to mention him just now because he's so forgettable. But
Pierce Bronson?
No, Timothy Dalton.
Oh, I was about to say.
Nah, but I know a lot of people didn't like it because they called him James Blonde and all that stuff. But that first scene in his movie where he was chasing that parkour dude all through the streets and was running through the embassy and just that. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, this is how Bond really is. This is how they because Bond was the dude was not just some like playboy driving fancy cars. The dude was a war hero. The dude was a fighter. And if you haven't read the books, go check them out. See what you think about them, and then see what you think about the Bonds as they're portrayed in the movies. So,
okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll shout out that Oscar winner. Had a long, illustrious career. The best Bond by most, minus my man Larry over there, the living legend. But he'll go down as one of the better ones.
You know what? I'll say this because when I mean, obviously I think of him as Bond, and I really enjoy him as Bond, and that's what so many people just default to him for. But I think probably some of my favorite roles with him, they used to be Bond, and then they stopped being Bond because I enjoyed him. I enjoyed seeing him so much in the Indiana Jones movies. It was, I mean, he was so fun in those movies. It was like, instead of being this super suave debonair dude, he was sort of this like fun, adventurous, sort of nerdy dude. That was his, that was Indy's dad. And you can see he was sort of, you could see where he was sort of nerdy, but he had that swashbuckling sense to him still, and just he was fun. And that other movie that he did with I think it was it the one with Denzel where he did with the submarine?
I think it was Denzel in that movie.
Yeah, was that Hunt for Red October or
yeah, one of those.
Yeah, he was really fantastic in that, and it's so funny. He's such a great actor that when he was in The Untouchables, which is one of my favorite movies, I didn't even realize that was him. Like, I knew that was him. I knew that was Sean Connery, but he was so different that it just didn't come across as, oh, this is James Bond. And that's something that is really, I think, is a testament to great actors, because there's a lot of people that seem like they play the same role no matter where they're at, and they play every role the same way, and you always see either that one role that they play that they're just doing over and over again, or you just see them as a person. And I would, I would watch movies with him in there and I would forget that it was him. He became that character. And I think that's an important thing. And yeah, so The Untouchables was absolutely amazing. And that's one of my favorite movies. His character was probably, if not my favorite in that movie, one of my favorites. It's hard. It's a toss up between him and I think the other dude, the accountant. What was his name? Was it not Rick Morales? It was I can't remember the dude's name. The guy that worked for Treasury, I think it was, or the accountant. He was the one that came up with the plan to get Capone for tax evasion. And anyways, but he was probably my favorite. He was probably my favorite dude in that movie, and I enjoyed seeing him. So he'll be missed.
I swear Mike Willie is my brother from another. I was just about to say League of Extraordinary Gentlemen wasn't a big box office movie, but I loved Sean Connery in that movie. He was the movie. In my opinion, you take him out of that movie would not have been that great. He was the man in that movie. That really enjoyed. Yeah, right. He made that movie a classic. I really enjoyed it. And this was later on in his career. He still had the acting chops to pull it off. So rest in peace, my brother. We're going to move on. So, ladies and gentlemen, my man Tim, go ahead.
Buzz says the best cartoon Bond is Archer.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to agree with him on that. Archer is the best.
Man,
Archer is the best. And if you don't know, Archer has a new series that's out right. It's the new season's out right now. And it is hilarious.
Yep. So Tim Windsor picked number 2. And number 2, ladies and gentlemen, comes straight from the Facebook page of our good friend Brandon Avery over at Just My Opinion Reviews. Go check the brother out if you haven't. He does a great job. And this is what Brandon had to say on his page. This is a follow-up to what we were saying about Lil Wayne being a coon and all that stuff last week, and how it's kind of hard to take your marching orders from people who've made it and really can't even damn vote. So this is what he had to say. And I'll read it because it's very, very tiny. Basically, he's talking about all the economists, all the smart people that have gotten together to talking about putting money together for Black people, kind of in the form of reparations, and it not being a loan. It's being studied. Ice Cube has put his name on it. It's not the platinum plan, but more of a plan where Black people can basically get money the way me and Larry both combined our statements last week by saying this mess about the credit, you got to get rid of that. Some of those bureaucracies, you got to get rid of that. And it shouldn't be a loan at all. It's the synopsis of what B. Avery is saying. I'm sorry that the photo is so small. But Larry, do you ever think we're going to get to a point where we would be able to pull something like that off to the American public, to give minorities that suffered what we suffered and being behind where we're behind some form of reparation? Because they always say we can't afford it, but we've seen that we've been able to afford a whole lot of shit that we said we can't afford during this pandemic, and we're affording it. So what do you think?
I'll tell you what they could do for reparations.
Okay.
Just a thought. Because and here's the thing. When people talk about reparations, people often think about 40 acres and a mule and all that we were supposed to get coming out of slavery and all that. But there's a whole lot of other stuff that has happened between then and now, and one of the major shortfalls with Black people that caused a big wealth gap is coming out of World War II, when they had VA loans for both, they had VA loans for homes, and they were giving out, and they had educational benefits. They were not giving those benefits to Black people, to Black veterans that should have been eligible. They weren't doing that. So what happened was, between the 40s and the 60s, you had all these white people that were eligible, and they were getting home loans, and they were building equity and wealth, and they were able to then take that wealth and send their kids to college, and their kids were then able to, instead of being stuck working in a coal mine or digging a ditch, they were able to go and become doctors and lawyers and accountants and teachers and professors and all kinds of stuff. And then they were able to grow their wealth because they had better paying jobs. And Black people in general were left behind. And so if you didn't have a way of making the money to pay for you to go to school or to buy that house on your own, then you couldn't do anything. And for a long time, Black people couldn't even get a loan. If we bought a house, we had to pay cash,
Right.
And so if you're a white person and you want to go buy a house back in the day that cost $15,000, you go and you get a loan like you would today. You get a mortgage and you pay your $100 a month and you pay your house off, and then you're good to go. We didn't have those options. And so, I think one of my thoughts was that for reparations they could do is simply make college, anything from community college all the way up to medical school. I don't care to professional schools, medical, med school, law school, whatever it is. You make every level of education for Black people in this country free for the next 100 years. And the same for home loans. You offer home loans at 0% interest. period. And you make it so that black people can actually get the mortgages. None of this, well, we have the programs, but they just don't qualify because their credit is bad. No, it should just simply be people just will have to qualify on income. If you want to buy a $300,000 house and you have enough to make the mortgage, then you will get a 0% interest loan, and that you will make the mortgage. And part of that is it will make home ownership much more affordable for people, because if you don't have to worry about interest on your loan, your mortgage payment is going to be much lower. So, you're still going to have to pay the mortgage. You're still going to have to pay homeowners insurance, but you're not going to have to pay interest, which will make it infinitely more affordable for a lot of people.
So what we're going to do about folks that want to own a business? Are we going to give them a loan that has no interest, payback terms stretched out the same way you're talking about college? Because there are a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, they're innovators, and they just don't have the resources, the knowledge, or the connections to get their businesses going. So are we going to do the same thing for them too, Larry?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure how that works out with the business part, because
you got to do something for them.
Not that black people didn't have issues with business, but when I think back to the way things were with black folks, at least to my knowledge, and I'm sure black folks were locked out of getting business loans and stuff too, but as far as I know, a large part of how the white community gained
Larry,
its wealth gap.
Larry, time out. Do you want me to handle CJ32, or would you like to attack him? Because he's in there talking real stupid. You see those last three? As a matter of fact, I'll give this one to you. I'm going to say he's telling one of our followers that no one should be asking for reparations because we're not slaves. Now, this is either the thought process of a damn child that has grown up and still has that process, or this is just someone trying to be a troll, one or the other one. Larry, do you want to take it, or should we just ignore him?
I think we should ignore him, because to be honest with you, I mean, I see people say that, and to me, someone who says something like that, they're willfully ignorant, and they have no real interest in gaining any knowledge and understanding. They're willfully ignorant. They probably listen to a lot of right-wing talk radio or something, and they like to spew those silly things. A statement like that to me is akin to people who say, "Oh, you should love the Republicans. The Republicans are the ones that freed the slaves. The Republicans did this and that." And they willfully ignore the fact that there was a platform switch, and the Republicans basically became, the Republicans of yesteryear were considered the liberals. And then there was a platform switch. And the Democrats became the liberals, and the Republicans became the conservatives. But people like that willfully ignore history. They either are willfully ignorant to it, or they just ignore it, or they understand it, but they think most people don't know, and so they throw it out there because they figure, well, most people don't know, so I can say this and confuse people or get brownie points or whatever else. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I was never a slave in my day. I know for a fact that I had slaves in my family. I have the actual documentation to show that. And so when you never provided reparations, and you have a history in this country that goes and goes and goes, and it's a history of oppression and everything else that is passed down from generation to generation to generation, at some point you have to start closing that. You have to start closing the wealth gap so that you can close all the other gaps.
Right. When you know what that's called, Larry? That's called legacy. That's what it's called. And America would not be where it's at had it not been for slaves that was here in America, putting it ahead of everybody else with that free labor. And the issue that we're facing right now, while we're behind, is because of the legacy that we have been robbed of. That's what the gap is. And that's exactly what Larry is expanding on. You did an eloquent job of expanding on it, Larry, but let's move on so we can stay on mission.
All right.
So that was Tim, and that was B. Avery. B. Avery. That was some good junk, my man. That was, I was thoroughly entertained by reading that Facebook post.
Can I just point something out right quick? And because I know a lot of people just think it's about money.
Right.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing that makes it not just about money, right? Mm-hmm. The way that our schools in this country are funded has to do with property tax. If you live in a neighborhood that has high property values, your property is going to be assessed at a higher at whatever rate, even if it's all the same rate. Even if everyone's taxed, even if their homes are assessed at 5%. If you live in a place where every home is $1 million plus, they're going to have a lot more money that's going to be able to fund their schools than if you go to a neighborhood where everybody makes, everybody's home is worth $100,000. And so you end up where you have school systems that cannot provide the same amount of resources and in lower income areas than you do in wealthy areas. And what happens is, if you are able to close the income gap, you have more Black people that can afford to live in wealthy areas, and they have homes that cost more, which means they have more income tax or more property tax, which means you have more money to fund schools, which means you can afford to hire better teachers. You can have better textbooks, or just textbooks in general. You can have computers and better facilities. All of that stuff comes. So it's about the money, but it's not just about money in your pocket. It's about way money circulates through your community. It's like I said, Larry, it's legacy. Legacy is more than money. Legacy is beyond money. It's empowerment and enrichment. And for those of you who don't know, there's a difference. There is a difference. So Larry, let's move on beyond that one so we stay on mission. Our good friend, Tressa, picked number 3. Oh boy, this is probably what a lot of people came here to see. So there's been, Larry, I don't know why this hasn't been put to bed yet, but I thought me and you put it to bed a long time ago. All right. Ghost is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Omari Hardwick has said it 5 different times from Sunday that Ghost is dead, and here he is saying it again.
To all of my dear fans, you guys lived with us for 6 seasons. I want to say thank you for embracing me as your ghost, specifically in this journey and all of the parts of that guy. There were 3 people in one. I want to say there were never any fans like you. I had done this TV thing prior, and I don't know if I knew what a real fan was until I was on a show called Power. Your ghost is in Power Heaven. Your Omari is in fact right here. I want to say I love you. Peace. To all of my
Ghost isn't dead. Ghost isn't dead. He's just not Ghost anymore.
Okay, so Tariq is Ghost then.
Tariq is the new Ghost.
So here's the problem.
And Tariq is part of his father, so Ghost lives on. How about that, people? There you go. Now you have your Ghost.
We've been said that Ghost persona is Tariq. But what people are clamoring for, Larry, is Omari Hardwick. They don't care about. They want Ghost and Omari Hardwick. And Larry, put it to bed. He's not coming back, is he? He's not coming back.
Here's the thing. This is the thing, right?
Right.
What's her name? Courtney Kemp has given us a fantastic show and it's really a testament to her writing and the writing of of their entire writing staff. They have given us a show that is absolutely fantastic from a character that I think we all universally hated. I mean, none of us. I don't think anybody that on this show, I don't think anybody that came and watched and commented, I don't think anybody liked Tariq. I think it was universal that we all hated Tariq.
Hate him.
Somehow they have given us a show that based on him, that we actually really like. That's a good show. It's entertaining, it's engaging, it's fun to watch. He inspires us to get out and get in shape, because as much as he's running track through the halls of his college, I mean, The dude better not be wearing any classic Air Force Ones because he's just chewing them up. But in all seriousness, it's a great show. It's a lot of fun. And when I say great, I mean great in the sense that it's entertaining. I'm not saying it's the highest form of art. It's entertaining. I get that. And so, I mean,
now that's why I got to stop you now. Let me tell you about a part of the show that is just pure trash ass writing. The part where they got my girl, Professor Kerry, just getting moist when she hear locks and keys. That's horrible writing. Take that out. The show would be a whole lot better. I'm tired of them doing her like that. It makes no damn sense that professor of education cannot be left alone in a room with somebody if she hear doors and locks opening. Take that out, and I'll be with the show.
Now, if you think that's bad, just imagine on the second half of this season how upset you're going to be when we see Tariq smack those cheeks with the doors open.
Man, stop it, man.
He's going to clap those cheeks.
Man,
clap, clap,
no,
clap,
man.
clap,
No,
with the doors
Larry,
wide open.
No, Tariq will not be getting Professor Kerry's panty draws. Forget it. Just forget it. Forget it. So
all up in them.
Ghost is still alive, but Omari Hardwick's ghost is dead. And now we'll move on to
now here's this though. I expect this, and I don't know how Omari Hardwick feels about this, and I don't know what his contracts looks like, but I could see Ghost coming back. I can see Omari Hardwick. I can see James St. Patrick coming back as an actual ghost. Very much the way that they brought Angela back damn near for a whole season as a ghost in his, in his mind, in his realm. I could very much see them bringing him back as a ghost, maybe in Tommy's show, maybe Tommy has these experiences of what would ghosts do,
Right.
And maybe I could see him bringing it back towards the end if Tariq really starts to get in trouble at the end of this season. But I don't think so. I think if they brought him back for Tariq's show, it'd have to be next year because they want to establish Tariq as his own man. They can't do that if his dad's popping up. So, but I think maybe I could see them bringing him back as a ghost, a real ghost.
Now, see, I'm with my homegirl Tressa. I just don't see that, and I think it would be crazy. At this point, I think if they was going to have Ghost as a ghost, they would have done it by now. And for Courtney and them to try to bring him back in some small capacity without actually using him fully, I think that would just be a recipe for disaster. Like you've got to go ahead and turn that corner and let him be, Larry. I don't think they need to even tease people like that. And look. You done got people started in there talking about Professor Kerry. People down there clicking locks and clicking keys. That Muchella. You stop it, Muchella. Stop it.
Now, how about this? Let's say that Tasha in prison hooks up with some hoodoo or voodoo chick and teaches her how to get that juju going, and she brings Ghost back.
No.
She conjures them back up.
No, man. This ain't Lovecraft power. No. Lovecraft ghost. No, man. Forget it.
How about his Powercraft country?
Man, no. You see this, you've been begging for a crossover show. You want to see Power Book 2 mixed with a little bit of the Shy, mixed with a little bit of Snowfall, mixed with a little bit of what's the other show on Stars that we watch? Cape Town, mixed with a little bit of that. And then you want to go throw in some Lovecraft Country on top of all that for like an all-star TV show. Man, we're done with this. Omari Hardwick is not coming back unless it's a new season.
I have to take issue with somebody in the comments. They might need to get blocked.
What's that?
I don't know who this Keo the Goat is, but you about to be on my bad side, man.
Hey,
I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're about, but you talking about you hate Ramona? Come on, son. Don't get blocked up in this piece.
Hey,
don't get blocked up in here.
Keo the Goat, He has no authority to block you on my live stream. This is not his live stream. And if you want to talk about if you want to talk about Ramona slip and slide forehead, talk about that forehead all you want to. I've seen foreheads like that at pool sides. Talk about her all you want to. And who is now you got other people in here putting up keys.
He's mad because I picked the beautiful, self-aware, intelligent woman with some integrity who only gives it up when she really is into somebody, and he didn't pick the educated hooker, the one that's just letting everybody clap them cheeks.
Larry, she has a problem that she's getting help with. Everybody has a problem.
Right?
Everybody has an issue. Like, nobody's perfect. Not even Ramona.
I'm gonna download a door lock sound effect on my phone. I'm gonna go find her and just play it. Click, click.
That's it. We're done. We're no more. That is the end of power, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving on. My folk, Chris P, picked number 7. And number 7, ladies and gentlemen, is back to politics. It is the various pathways that someone can become president tomorrow night. Let's take a quick look at the road to 270. Who has the easiest path? Who has the hardest path? Let's take a look.
That number is 270. That's how many electoral votes it takes to win. Steve Kornacki now with the math for the campaigns.
That's right, Shep. So let's take a look here. This is our battle for 270 map. And what you're seeing here in gray, this is the battleground for this presidential race. And it looks like a lot of states, there's 13 of them here, but you can break these up into a couple different categories pretty easily. First of all, these 3, New Hampshire, Minnesota, and Nevada. Those are 3 blue states, Clinton states from 2016, that the Trump campaign says they think they can flip, and they're trying to flip in 2020. Obviously, if they did, that could change the map a little bit. But so far, if you look at the polling, at least in those 3 states, the polling has been favoring Joe Biden. So Trump would like to flip one of them. But for the moment, if those go blue, if the polling proves right in those, that would put Biden at 232. That was Hillary Clinton's number in 2016. And that would mean that every other gray state you see right here, that was a state Trump won in 2016. And where he's playing defense now, you can see he needs to shore up a lot to get back to his 2016 strength. So let's take a look at these states. Where does Trump have the best shot in terms of hanging on? Texas, it's the biggest state on this list. He won it by nearly 10 points in 2016. It looks very competitive right now. It's an absolute must-win state for the president. If he does get it, you can see his electoral vote will start to creep up there. If Biden were ever to get that, absolutely catastrophic for Donald Trump. But if Trump can get Texas, that would keep him in the game. His campaign would also look at Ohio and Iowa, states he won by nearly 10 points in 2016. Again, they look competitive right now, but they become must-win states for the president. You can see that would start to get his numbers up there as well. Where else would the Trump campaign look? Florida. That's a state, 29 electoral votes. The polling there looks about even right now. Trump carried it by a point in 2016. Again, that would put him over 200. These are all, everything I'm clicking on here is a must-win state for the president. We're just working through here to see what it would take if he was going to get to 270. Then his campaign would also need to get North Carolina. The polling there looks close. Would need to get Georgia. The polling there is basically dead even. And now you see the map would really start to narrow. What Trump would need here, he'd still need 2 more states. He'd still need, whether it's Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, he'd need 2, most likely. His campaign is targeting Pennsylvania aggressively, and they're targeting Arizona aggressively. He would need probably those 2, but some combination there. This would be his margin for error. All those battleground states I just showed you, this would have 2 of them potentially flipping to Biden with Trump still winning. So Trump playing a lot of defense out there. He needs a lot to break his way. The path we just showed you, that's what it would take to get him reelected. And you can see there's a lot of states there. If he loses them, that alone could be ball game for him.
So, Larry, having said that and having looked at all these exit polls early, why should we not expect another surprise in the manner we got in November 2016?
Well, I mean, for one, right now, from what I've seen on the news, it says that we're already at like 70 something percent. The last time I saw it earlier today, 70 some 80% of the votes that were cast in 2016, and we're not even on election day yet. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that vote on election day. And I mean, and from what they're saying, I mean, as far as what they're talking about for as people voting, percentage of the early votes cast between Republicans and Democrats, the gap was like 13% or something like that in favor of the Democrats. And so if that number holds true on election day, it's going to be difficult, I think, for the Republicans to win. I think it's going to be, I mean, it's going to take Russia for them to win it, And
and this year they refined their polling methods to consider the things that they didn't consider in 2016. Granted, it's still going to be a dogfight, and we're going to have to see what happens. But
here's the thing, too, and I hope, and this is part of the problem, right? Is that Trump basically has created a cult, and there's a lot of people out there that are a part of his cult. And I saw it this weekend when I was out. My wife and I were out looking at houses, and we saw them out driving around with their trucks and cars with their Trump flags and everything. And basically, they were I guess the campaign, whoever told these people to go out and do these Trump parades, and they're stopping traffic on blocking bridges and highways and all the other stuff. And it's one thing if you want to be in a cult, that's fine. You be in a cult. You're willing to die for this man. You're willing to go out there and get COVID at a rally. You're willing to stand out in the blistering cold because he didn't even think to send you a bus to bring you back to your cars. If you want to die for this man, that's fine. But the rest of us don't want to. The rest of us are not a part of this cult. And so when and the problem is with Trump is not trying to be a president for all America. Trump is only trying to be a president for those who support him, and that's it. And that's dangerous. And on top of that, he really does not care about the safety and security of this country. He has thrown in the towel when it comes to this pandemic. And just today I was watching, he was at a rally just today. They were chanting. The whole rally was chanting, "Fire Fauci." And he was up there saying, "Give me a chance. Wait till November 3rd or 4th," or whatever he said it was. And I'm thinking to myself, or he said, "Wait till November 4th." And I'm thinking to myself, really? That's what you want to do? You want to fire Fauci? I mean, this is the one dude that has been giving you information that you really need. This is the one dude that has basically said, "I don't really give an F how you feel about it. I'm going to tell you what you need to know." And I mean, if they fire, just think about that, people. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there who are thinking, "Oh, I don't believe this. Oh, I'm not going to get COVID." We're right now, we are averaging 83,000 new infections that they're tracking a day. This is 83,000 that they know about. And so if they just double the testing, you're probably going to find out we're well over 100,000 new infections every single day. It's only a matter of time before, if we can't do something about this, it's only a matter of time before you get it. and not everybody's going to fare well. There's going to be some people that are going to do just fine, but you have to remember too that that you may get this and think you're fine, but you might be like, "Oh, I didn't get any symptoms. I'm asymptomatic. Yeah, I tested positive, but I'm asymptomatic. Oh, I just had a little cold. It wasn't a big deal. I'm over it, blah, blah, blah." But they're also talking about a lot of those people out there that are getting it and they're asymptomatic, or they only have mild symptoms. And then it turns out that they have liver disease, kidney disease, they have a heart problem. They have all kinds of, chronic pain and everything else that comes weeks or months later, and it's lasting and still lasting. So you consider that. If you haven't voted yet, consider that. I mean, I want a president that is going to put the safety and the security of our nation up front, above all else.
Well, the next subject Mike Willie picked, and it's going to be number one. It kind of ties into politics too. Right here in the county I live in, we saw protesters marching peacefully get pepper sprayed. But then in Texas, we see Trump trucks hemming up Joe Biden's campaign bus. What's the hypocrisy with this? They call the police on the Trump folks. Nobody gets shot. Nobody gets pepper sprayed. But these people who are peacefully marching to go vote get pepper sprayed. And it's a damn hypocrisy. I don't understand it. And when we put this in your face and you still have these idiots that want to challenge that, it makes me mad. Take a look at what just happened over this weekend. Just pure tea crazy.
Was assaulted. And at that point, that's when we deemed that it was an unsafe event.
And use military tactics against elderly people, young children.
Two very different accounts from North Carolina police and activists about a voters' march that ended with people pepper sprayed and arrested in Alamance County.
After the events that unfolded Saturday, organizers are planning a new march on Election Day.
The incident ended with demonstrators being pepper sprayed and arrested in downtown Graham. CBS 17's Imani Payne joins us live. And Imani, we are definitely getting two very different stories about what happened here.
In a press conference today, community members condemn the actions of police, while police say an accurate picture of what happened is not being shared. Now, police do say that they did use pepper spray to try to break up the crowd. Some attendees say that smoke impacted the elderly, journalists, and even children. It all happened during a voting rally Saturday that was supposed to lead to a march to the polls, but some attendees who were planning to vote say that wasn't possible because of that tense situation. The organizer says what happened is unacceptable. Police say they issued warnings to the crowd to move out of the road because they were blocking traffic for others trying to reach the polls, and say they released the pepper spray and started making arrests only after the crowd refused to move.
We want to say as an agency we respect and promote citizens' ability to exercise their constitutional rights, and will do anything in our power to ensure those rights are maintained.
Use military tactics against elderly people, against young children on yesterday. That eventually resulted in folks not getting to those polls. What did we do? So wrong.
8 demonstrators were arrested during the event. The rally organizer says to expect hundreds at the Election Day march, saying the voice of the people will not be silent.
Thing I've ever seen, man. They're like chasing him. This is in New Braunfels right now, and they're like, they got, look at it. They're like literally escorting him out of town on the Trump flags. Oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. They're like hundreds of them. They're escorting him out. Look at this. They're in front with a Trump train.
And it was on Interstate Highway in Texas. And a bunch of Trump trucks, pickup trucks with Trump flags, tried to run it off the road. We're stopping it, dropping in front of it. And the president saw it, took the video that someone had taken, and tweeted it back out and said, "I love Texas. I love Texas." We've never had anything like this. At least we've never had a president who thinks it's a good thing.
You see the way our people, they were protecting his bus yesterday because they're nice. So his bus, they had hundreds of cars. Trump, and the American flag. That's it. You see Trump and American flag. Do you ever notice when you see the other side? I don't even see much of the other side. You don't see any. They have no spirit. They have no enthusiasm. They have no nothing.
Where do I even begin with this? First of all, the hypocrisy on this one is blazing. The first lie that Alamance County said was they didn't have a permit. Then our state attorney general got involved. They had a permit. So then the next lie was they ordered them to get out the road. They had a permit to be in that road. So because they got an order and they didn't comply, but they had the permit, they start pepper spraying them. Then we flip to Trump's people hemming up the Biden bus. Okay.
Before you move on to the bus, it needs to be pointed out too that not only did they have a permit and they said they were in the road, they had a police escort that escorted them in the road.
With them. Right.
With them. They were escorted in the road. The police that were with them for this protest said, this is the route, follow us. This is how you are going to go. So they followed the police, and then the police turned around and attacked them.
But then the police is called to Trump's people hemming up the Biden bus, stopping in front of them, running them to the side of the road. Nobody's arrested. Nobody gets picked up. Then the FBI is getting involved. And the only time the FBI get involved is when there's life and death situations put on display. And that's exactly what we had. The hypocrisy of this, Larry. These peaceful people get sprayed. But these people in cars without a permit, hemming up the motorcade to the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, and they don't even get an arrest. What the hell is this about, Larry? The floor is yours, man. Because this is exactly what we're talking about, people. Nobody can defend that. You can sit up here and pull every excuse out your ass that you want to pull. You can pull every tool out your butt that you want to pull, but you can't excuse the behavior. Now, had someone gotten shot by the police, I wonder would Anglo-Saxons be feeling the way we feel about these protesters getting pepper sprayed? What you think, Larry?
Yeah, it's just, it's saddening. It's disgusting when I see that. When I saw that on the highway, I mean, this is a country that should be. I mean, for a very long time, we were held up in the world as the gold standard of democracies, the way that democracies should function, that we have had peaceful elections, that we've had peaceful transitions of power. And now we are seeing just what looks like the total destruction of our democratic system. And I mean, it really, it scares me to think what is going to happen in this country on November 4th or whenever shortly thereafter when they determine who wins either way. Because I think that if Joe Biden wins, then all these Trump people are just going to lose their ever-loving mind. They're going to sit up there and try and say that it was rigged, that it was all false and everything else. If Trump wins, you're going to see these people and Trump completely unrestrained, and it's going to be a very dangerous country to live in. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been talking to my wife for a while about saying we should leave. We are lucky that we have the financial means to leave, and I keep saying we should, but she doesn't want to. I understand that, and but it deeply worries me because I see the way things are going with these people. They are fanatical. This is not something where it's just people upset about a political party. These are people who they're not Republicans. They may be registered as Republicans, but they're not Republicans. These people belong to Donald Trump. These people are Donald Trump fanatics. Because you didn't see people doing that with George W. Bush.
But that's because George W. Bush didn't behave the way Trump has allowed them to behave. This has always been in these people, Larry. They just needed a leader to come out and make it okay for them to behave like that. And that's what he's done.
Yeah.
So
it saddens me deeply because I really would like to believe that our country is better than that. I know that it's not. I'm a black man in this country. I'm a 50-year-old black man in America. I've seen some really, really heinous things happen in this country to not just black people, but to women, to gay people, to Hispanics, to Asians. I've seen stuff happen to all types of groups inflicted on them by white people. So as much as I would like to believe this country is better than that, I know that it's not. I know that this country, even though it has all of its lofty ideals, I know at the core there's a lot of rot at the core. The country's not rotten as a whole, but there is a lot of rot at the core of this country that needs to be scraped away. And I think that's part of the reason why these people are fighting back so much, because in a lot of ways, their ideas are the rot and they are getting scraped away. And people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and AOC and the whole squad, all of them, they are all people. They are all political doctors with scalpels, cutting away the rot of this country and allowing this country to heal and to become better and become its true sense of what it is and what it should be, to live up to the American dream and the American ideals that were put forth. And these people, the people call them progressives, some people call them communists, some people call them socialists, some people call them Democrats, whatever you want to call them, they are basically political surgeons cutting away at the rot of this nation. And the other people, the people on the left, on the right, all those Trump people that are out there, they are fighting back because they know that what's being cut away is them. They're evil ideas. You know that a party is wrong and anti-American when they spend so much money, so much time, have filed so many lawsuits to prevent people from voting. You should inspire everyone to exercise their constitutional rights. That should not be something you try and prevent people from doing, even if they're not going to vote for you.
Right.
I mean, the reality is we've been encouraging people on this show to vote every single show for the last several months. Sometimes I jokingly say vote for Biden because I want you to vote for Biden, but I just say vote. Go out and vote. And I probably have inspired a number of Trump voters to go vote.
I mean, just the mere fact that we are intelligent black men inspires Trump voters to go vote, because nothing scares them more than educated minorities and educated women. Nothing scares them more than that. But there, we got to move on. I'm running out of time here. Buzz, the next one is on you. Pick the number either 7, 8, or 4. We're down to our last 3 subjects, and we're going to have to blaze through them. So which one you want, Buzz? Do you want number 4, number 7, or number 8? And while we wait on Buzz, be sure to subscribe to my channel, Larry's channel. Go over there and check out our good folk, Brandon Avery, Just My Opinion Reviews. Be sure to check out Pay Her Weight. She does a great job. Our folk Buzz wants number 8, and I don't think he's going to like this one, Larry. I don't think Buzz is going to like number 8 because he said he's seen all of them. But Buzz, this is for you and for the audience. Try not to laugh. Some of the funniest news clips ever recorded. Take a look.
I'll walk. Yeah, I can walk the gun. Why don't you walk the gun?
I don't need to walk the gun.
Well, shit, no, you don't. You're going to put everybody else walking the gunner. Why don't you just walk the gunner?
All right, I'll walk the gunner.
All right, let's go.
All right, thank you.
How about strutting that ass? You'll be so goddamn fucking tired. The time you get to New Hope, you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be so goddamn fucking tired by the time you get to New Hope that you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be.
Well, what's got you so mad today?
Me?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to run. Everybody wants to run. That's good. Run here at the Gunnersville. I'll walk. I'll be right behind them and see how far they can run. It's a chauvinistic pig attitude that you're going to do something because you work at the Arsenal and you got a fucking Mercedes-Benz and you ain't got to walk every day, so you're going to get out and strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass. When you start walking, my friend, and you get 10 and 15 miles on the highway, you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be half dead by the time you get there. So it's a chauvinistic pig attitude that Clinton's got. Strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass, strut that ass. And when you walk about 15 or 20 miles, you won't be strutting that ass. You'll be so fucking tired, you won't hard to hold an ass up. You won't be strutting that ass, strutting that ass.
How does it feel to get the power restored? It's been 5 days, hasn't it?
You know what? Hey, I'm so glad the power come back up because I was burning up.
Lamasa Pace said she was thrilled to see all the power trucks rolling down her street, South Military.
The whole street was lined up with them cherry pickers and all them crew. I said,
you said hallelujah.
I go like, hot dog, look at that, boy, look at that thing.
How well are you going to sleep tonight?
You bet I'm going to sleep like a baby. Drink me some good old Kool-Aid and drink me some big jug of ice or Kool-Aid and go to sleep like a baby.
Kelly Dodson was asleep with her little girl inside their apartment on Webster Drive when
I was attacked by some idiot from out here in the projects. He tried to rape me. He tried to pull my clothes off.
Well, obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
the attacker got loose and went out the upstairs window, but he did leave something behind.
We got your T-shirt. You done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real. You don't have to come and confess that you did it. We're looking for you. We gonna find you. I'm letting you know now, so you can run and tell that, homeboy.
And like I say, my neighbor, you got some big testicles to pull this off, bro. Because we see this dude every day. I mean, every day.
How long have you lived here?
I've been here a year.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming from?
Right.
I barbecue with this dude. We eat ribs and whatnot and listen to salsa music. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. And you had no indication that there was anything going on?
Bro, not a clue.
What was the reaction on the girls' faces? I can't imagine to see the sunlight, to be around people.
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much for your time. And
either she homeless or she got problems. That's the only reason why she run to a black man.
Charles, thank you for being there, man.
Larry, which one made you laugh first? You didn't.
None of them.
Come on, man. Come on.
I hate those
Why do you
clips,
hate
man.
those clips? You feel like the media be taking advantage of people who are in a what's the best way I can put this? In a position of I don't know. You feel like the media take advantage of people.
Yeah, I mean they like to show these stereotypes of us, and I don't like it.
Man, that first guy wasn't nuts.
I worked as a photojournalist for a number of years, and I used to hate it when they would come out and they would ask me to get, well, how come you didn't shoot this, or how come they got that? When they would look at the other competing people's stuff, and I was like, because I'm not gonna shoot that shit. I'm not shooting stereotypes. I wasn't gonna do it. I don't like seeing that. I mean, I understand those people are out there. I know they're part of our community, and that's fine. But they look for that. I haven't been a part of the media. I know at times what they go out there looking for, and they look for that, and I don't want to be a part of that. I don't like it.
Well,
So,
I
understand for a lot of people find it funny, and I understand where the humor comes from. I don't like it.
That first white dude was funny as hell, talking about Bill Clinton. He did not like Bill Clinton and Democrat, and he was mad about it. And that was the only one that made me laugh, in all honesty. Moving right along.
I mean, that dude had like no teeth. He looked like he had meth mouth. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's you hear people and you see people do stuff that's outlandish, and on some primal level, it's funny. But at the same time, we're watching people that are probably in the worst state of their life. And when you see someone that you know is obviously high, that to me is not particularly funny. There's plenty of things that are out there, I think, that are funny. When you look at like that little girl, what was her name? the little Miss America, junior Miss America, or some chick that was from South Carolina that gave that crazy answer, said, oh, this and that, and what can and had been, and just basically said nothing. That's a funny clip to me. You know? I mean, when you see that guy that was out there, the one dude that I forgot his name, he was sort of like sounded like sort of a stoner hipster dude that killed an attacker. That dude, when his interview, he was funny. There are some funny clips out there. I guess maybe it's just me too from being a bit sensitive. Sometimes I just get tired of seeing black people made fun of.
I mean, it gets on my nerves that they go and look for the people who seem to have the lowest education or are the poorest or not up to date on things. But I was happy that this particular clip didn't just focus on us. It got deranged because oftentimes the focus is on us when we don't make up the majority of the people that be acting a fool in the news. So
Right.
I got plenty of laughs out of that first guy. Hated Bill Clinton strutting that ass. Moochie shy.
He definitely had a saying.
Yeah, man, strut that ass. As a matter of fact, that's what I might have to start saying about Professor Kerry instead of y'all pulling out. Strut that ass. Strut that ass, Professor Kerry. Number 5, Muchella picked number 5, and number 5 is dealing with Sterling K. Brown, who I absolutely love, Kerry Washington, who I'm decently fond of, and this director right here, they're going to be putting together a movie, a pairing. Now, let me read to you guys what they're going to be doing. Victoria Mahoney, who made history directing Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, will now direct the upcoming Lionsgate action film Shadow Force, starring Sterling K. Brown. Kerry Washington are set to star. The film hails from writer Leon Childs and Joe Carnahan, who have created a story about a husband and a wife on the outs with each other, but are now the targets for a bounty killer. Ooh. Together with their son, they must try to stay away from their former Shadow Ops unit, who is now tasked with killing them. Larry, Victoria Mahoney, Sterling K. Brown, and the sweet Kerry Washington. Is that going to be a first day watch for you? How do you feel about this pairing?
Well, first, I want to know, is Kerry Washington, is she still allowed to have a black love interest?
Why is she not allowed to have a black love interest?
I mean, when was the last time you saw her with one?
Her husband. You know, she's married to an ex-football player for the Eagles, Nnamdi Asomugha. And I'm not talking
about real life. I'm talking about on in the movies, on TV.
What about that show? What is it? Pretty Little Liars or Little Fires Everywhere? Ain't her husband up there black?
Is he? I haven't seen it. I gave up on her, to be honest with you. I gotten so frustrated with her. I gave up on her, so I didn't watch that.
Okay.
But it seems like it could be good. I mean, the premise of it seems not all that original, but everything doesn't have to be original to be good. It still can be a lot of fun, you know? So it sounds to me like it's sort of, you know, not a spinoff, but it's like, you know, they're both former black ops people or whatever. And so, you know, now their people are chasing them, trying to kill them. It almost sounds like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, except other people are trying to kill them instead of them trying to kill each other.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that they'll make a much more interesting Mr. and Mrs. Smith. My only drawback, and I'm not saying I don't want Kerry Washington to do it, I've not really seen her do like combat-y type movies. Have you, Larry? Like, you know, I'm not used to her trying to play the badass female role from the perspective of she's actually physically fighting. You know, mentally, yes, but physically, I've never seen her in that role.
Either of I haven't seen her in that, and she looks, unless she spends some time bulking up, it's going to be difficult to see her in that because she looks so frail. Every time I see her, the last several times I've seen her. She looks like one of those big head people. You know, if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about,
My
it's those
Lord.
people who they lose so much weight, they get so frail and thin that their head looks disproportionately large to their body. She looks like one of those big head people because she looks so thin and frail. And that to me is not an action figure. Like you look at someone like Halle Berry, when she did John Wick, she looked like she had some muscle tone on her. She didn't look buff, but she looked muscular. You know, I can see someone, and maybe Kerry Washington's working out and eating some protein and gaining a little bit of muscle, but I wouldn't have mind seeing someone maybe like Zoe Saldana do that. I think I've seen her in action movies, and I could see her. You know, she did Colombiana. I thought she was cool in that. You know, I wouldn't have mind seeing someone like like a Tika Sumpter do something. You know,
I mean,
maybe
Zoe Saldana got her hands tied up with Marvel. She playing Gamora. She ain't got no more room to do any more action movies. I don't think she's tied up. But I'm there for it because I'm a big Sterling K. Brown fan. I've been following him since the Army Wives. Dude is Oscar winner. He's great. He can carry a show. And I would just really be interested to see how that pairing with the director and those two being the stars goes. So I'm there for it. I'll see it. But Larry, you're going to get attacked by all the people who've had lap band surgery and been successful, talking about they head done went helium and their body done deflated. You're going to get it, my man. And I'm not going to be there to give you any of my muscles to help defend you from them people talking about their head big. Your woman, Ramona, got a big forehead. How would you feel if somebody said that about Ramona?
They talk about her forehead all the time, but her forehead is just big. It's not her whole head. I'm talking about these people who look like, and it's the thing. People like Kerry Washington, it's not like her head is big. She doesn't have a big head. It's just that she loses so much weight and gets so skinny and frail that her head looks big. Her head looks disproportionate to her body because her body's so doggone small.
Kerry, don't change nothing, sweetheart.
Kerry, eat a donut.
I rocks with you, Kerry. Me and you
Kerry,
can sit together.
In fact, you know what, Kerry? Stop by my house.
No,
I'm gonna give you a Joe Weedler shake.
No,
I'm gonna make you a couple of steaks. I'm gonna. You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you some bread. I'm gonna make you some really nice cinnamon toast every morning so that you can get a little bit of something on your bones again.
Kerry, forget that guy. You stop over here. I got the gym. We're going to have our protein shakes, our celery sticks, and all the rabbit food we can eat, and we're going to get it right. But moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, last subject of the day, and it's all about my Miami Dolphins and my boy Tua. We got that win in the face of Larry, hoping and thinking that my boy was going to get hurt quick. Take a look at this.
Man, the Samoan sniper, Tua Tagovailoa, with his first NFL touchdown. You're going to throw it to Devontae Parker, very good receiver in the league. Dolphins have some very good weapons when you think about Devontae Parker. Preston Williams, Jakeem Grant, and these guys, Myles Gaskin at running back, Mike Gesicki at tight end. But check this out right here. You're going to have a motion to tight, and then it looks like Devontae Parker is going to run a slice route. Looks like it originally could have probably was going to be a stab route, but I don't know. Just the accuracy of this shit, though, is pretty damn good, if I may say so myself. See him on the pool right here? Bang! All right, let's check it a little bit closer here. Motion to tight there. Obviously, man coverage. You can see him with the bump out here with the flat defender, perhaps worried about Myles Gaskin. You can see Tua on the pool. Super accurate with that funny style throwing motion right there. It's like a piston, like bing. But look at the accuracy. Look, this is pass interference right there. Hell of a catch by Devontae Parker, but man, what are you going to do right there? Nasty.
Nope, I would have challenged that. I don't think that was a reception.
It was a reception, and
I don't think it was a reception. I think when you look at it, his knee was down before he had control of the ball. I would have challenged that.
It was a reception, And not only did we beat the Rams, we destroyed the Rams, and it was pretty hectic in the beginning. The very first play,
threw that red flag.
Yeah, you could throw all the. Well, you couldn't because that was
that
within,
red flag and challenge that,
and you would have lost.
His knee was down before. His knee was down before.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And ladies and gentlemen,
of course you did.
We won the football game, but Tua didn't particularly have a big day. He only had 90 yards, 1 touchdown. But what made me feel good, the very first play of the game, they crunched him up and body slammed him, fell all on top of him, and Tua got up, shook it off, and was ready to go. It was the defense that won us the game. We've actually got one of the better defenses in all the NFL this year. And if it would have come down to Tua winning us that game, we would have lost. So I would say we didn't learn anything about Tua because we didn't need him. But I had to show y'all that because Tua survived, no injuries. He got him a touchdown. We won the game. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this show today.
I hope he stays healthy because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I hope he stays healthy.
I hope he stays healthy too. I had to show that for my folk, Mike Willie, because you know how me and him do. He's feeling the pain of the Detroit Lions, not really going the way he wants it to go. And in the closing words, if you haven't gone to vote, which I wish you would have had, people, you got to get with the times, go vote. I agree with some people that was in here saying voting should be way easier than what it is, and it should, which is why we need down ballot voting to go blue so they can fix this shit. It's a whole lot of fixing that this country needs. And when you see Republicans trying at every whim to block people from voting, that should tell you everything you need to do. Get out there and vote, people. Wear your mask. Be safe. Take whatever goods you need with you to be out there a couple of hours. And let's make this blue wave happen tomorrow night. Me and Larry will not be getting up here tomorrow. We'll talk about this on Wednesday.
Lamar, can I say one last thing? And I know we've talked about this briefly before, but if you're out there online, and I know there are some people out there online because I've had people come on to my videos and hit me in social media talking about certain black folks out there that are other influencers or people that have YouTube presences and Instagram and Twitter presences out there that are telling black folks not to vote.
Yeah.
They're telling black folks that your vote doesn't matter. They're telling black folks you look crazy for going out there and voting for these people when they don't have a black agenda, all kinds of stuff. I want to tell you, if anybody out there, if you want to be able to identify someone who is not an ally, black or white, when they are telling you not to exercise your political power, they are not your friend or your ally. And I say this in all seriousness because you have the entire Republican establishment working in unison, trying to make it harder for you to vote. They are trying to disenfranchise you with gerrymandering. They are filing lawsuits to make it so that you have to have voter IDs. They're trying to make sure that your polling places are closed down. They're trying to make it so that there is only one ballot drop-off box in each county in Texas, where you have counties that are the size of some states. They are doing everything that they can to make sure that your vote does not get counted. Now, I ask you this. If your vote does not matter, why are they going to such extreme measures to make sure that you don't vote?
Right.
If your vote does not matter, why are they going all out there and going all in to make sure that you don't vote, that your vote is not counted? Why are they doing that if your vote doesn't matter? Your vote matters. It counts. And someone pointed out today, we have Bernie Sanders in today in the Senate because when he ran for mayor of Burlington years ago, he won by 10 votes. 10 votes. And that led to his career that put him in the Senate, that had him run for president twice, that has led the progressive agenda, which has moved things forward. He has moved the needle. And why? Because of 10 votes. So you think about that the next time that you're thinking about not voting. If you haven't registered to vote and you're in one of those states that allow you to register to vote on election day, go out there, register, and vote. If you're already registered and you haven't voted yet, vote. Your vote matters. Your single vote matters.
It matters, people. Well said. Sit back, relax, be safe tomorrow. Until that next Sex is Hell video on Wednesday. We'll see you.
Peace.